I was interestingly wondering that when you are growing marijuana here, do you actually smoke it? What is that?
No.
Smoke? People want to think
No. Yeah, when everyone comes to this, think that we all smoke it. No, we don't. We just like the smell. Yeah, I like the smell of it when it's fresh. But no, we don't smoke it. Yeah, but a lot of people in Zimbabwe, as we know, the Binga tribe, has smoked it for forever and ever and ever. And they're nice, peaceful people. There's no problems there. So that's why we're saying it's legalized in so many parts of the world. So Zimbabwe, if we can legalize it to do smoke houses, or you're allowed a certain amount at home that you can smoke, I think it's better than alcohol.
This is Asake Online. Welcome to Agriculture on Site, a program where we get to speak to farmers and other actors who make agriculture their business in helping secure a food future. This week, we learn about approaches to cultivating medicinal cannabis as we chat with Kerry Mitchell, a cannabis farmer.
Well, you see, with the fish in the dams, the fish water, we put on all the fruit trees onto the marijuana as well. So that complements it. We've got the pigs down the bottom, so their pig effluent goes into a dam, we suck that, and that goes into the dams. So it's not the fish feces that the fish feed off, but it's the algae that the feces make.
Okay.
So the fish feed off the algae from the pigs, which helps them grow, and then also helps us, the water, because it's like borehole water and rainwater and dam water. So all of that complements to going back onto the plants. All the nutrients, all the goodness, everything. So it's like a little ecosystem. And also with, like, when we do harvest, the fish skulls, you know, the scales and, you know, the body that's left, and the guts we put into a tank, and we put some special muties inside there, and it ferments, and we put that fish emulsion onto the marijuana plants and onto the fig trees and onto all the plants. So it's a organic fertilizer as such.
And I noticed that your source of power, the solar here.
Yeah, so we've got some, that dam there is going to, we're starting to do the solar. We've got a few solars on the boreholes, but our aim for this year is to solar the farm, because it is erratic with the rainy weather, as you know, power's up and down with the sabotage of all the lines and everything, the power cuts. So we're going to have to put on solar, so we've got all round.
Is there would I say a demand for environmental, friendliness in operation like yours?
Yeah, there is a demand, because everything is basically organic. You know, we don't want to use pesticides. We don't want anything harmful on the farm. Even on our border lines, which is electrified, we've got to go there and pull out the weeds. So everything is just organic and friendly.
Great. What kind of challenges have you faced, in this operation?
The challenges, the main one, as we said, is the exportation. Also, we've done a lot of school fees. You know, when we first started this, we knew nothing about this plant. There's not a lot of literature in this, on Google and all of that. So we did a lot of school fees. We made a lot of mistakes. We learned by those, and each time we've just got better and better and better at, like the pests and how to grow them, and what more needs, what we need more soil, what more nutrients we need in the soil. That's been our base, our main challenges is just the school fees. You learn by mistakes and you just better it and better it. But other than that, just the exportation. That's the main thing.
Yeah. And interestingly, what attracted you to banjo growing?
No, a friend of ours actually got the seed, and he wanted to do it in pivots, which you can do, but you need a proper hemp seed for that. Those are the tall ones that grow huge. This one was for CBD. It was, the shorter plant like the THC one. So we said, no, well, let's try and we'll do 1 hectare of it, see how it goes. And when we did our first crop, when they were still small, we just fell in love with the plant, because it's just so unique and different, and it's out of the box. Like I said, we always thinking outside the box. Not many people have done it. I think no one had done it in Bulawayo, or very few people had done it in Bulawayo. So that was our first thing. We grew it, we grew to love it, and we want to do better. You know, when you fail at something, well, not fail, but when you start something, you want to better it. You know, you keep on wanting to better it. So we did our first crop. That was brilliant. We got about an average of 1.2 kgs of CBD flower of each plant. And a lot of people have said, you know, you can get 300 to 500 grams if it's a good plant. We doubled that. So we said, well, this is something that we've obviously cottoned onto and got things right. So we need to just carry on doing it. So from the CBD, we went into the THC because it is a more expensive product at the end. But yeah, we still do CBD. But yeah, it's just a nice plant.
What's the difference between THC and CBD? You talk about this.
So it's the cannabinoids.
Okay.
That's it. So when you look at the two plants, you cannot tell the difference. If you put a CBD plant and a THC plant, you won't tell the difference. It's only when you take it for testing. Well, you see, CBD has got CBD in it and it's got a minute amount of THC in it. THC has a lot of THC and a small amount of CBD, so they're complete opposites.
What are these properties, you know, when that you are looking at in the two varieties?
Well, depending on where it's also who is wanting what, you know, so it's the end user. So some of them want like 15% CBD and it's got to be below 1% THC. So depending on the users at the end, it's the end users. THC, they're wanting a high THC. With that, you get CBD, CBG. There's so many different things in the THC plant that they're finding out there's different uses for you know, for medical side. So when you extract and when you go through it, there's delta 8, delta 9. So when they do that, they extract, when they do the oils, they extract that, especially that delta 8, delta 9, the CBG, the CBN, all the different things out, and they use that for medical things.
Right. For what we're actually growing here, what are the medical uses are your products?
What can they be used for?
Yes.
Oh, for everything. If you look up on the internet, it's for cancers, it's for depression, it's for people say for arthritis, right, for all sorts of things. And we've had some people come from Switzerland. So, you know, people that are on proper drugs like meth and all of that, they're wanting to do a program here and to have like a facility. So people that are full of drugs and, you know, proper addicts, take them off slowly onto THC, because you can't just cut people off with drugs, you know, with the hard drugs. So you slowly wean them off onto the THC, like a high THC, then you lower the THC, you know, so the different strains, wean that off, and then eventually get onto CBD, and then they will be rehabilitated. So that's a project that we're also looking into now, that people have come to us, so it helps with addicts.
Because I also understand, yes, other properties that come out, you know, from this product is the oil, right? Is that also something that you are growing with the aim of?
Yeah. So the oil extracting, you extract. So we have got oil here that we did for our last season, or for the last season. But it's got to be a certain. People want certain percentages. So some will want like 93%, some will want 50%, some will want 70-something%. So only when you extract will you see what the percentage is. So then from there you would find a market for that.
This percentage you carry, has it to do with the strength of the oil?
Yeah, the strength of the oil.
The
oil and the cannabinoids and everything inside.
Okay.
So people, you know, in other parts of the world, they use that oil. They can put it into vapes, you know, like your cigarettes. They use it for medicines and everything. So it just depends on who the end user is.
And in Zimbabwe, what does the market want? Or?
In Zimbabwe, there's no market for it. Everything, the THC plant, there's no market for it here. So that's why everything that we're growing here has to be exported. That's like we were saying. So the regulatory varieties and all the red tape that we're going through, that's the toughest thing. So we can grow this. We've got a lovely crop here, as you've seen. But now it's to export it is the problem.
And what next? What are your plans? You know?
Just carry on growing. Helping, we've got the project with Madam Judith to help 40 to 60 farmers.
Right.
We're wanting to give back because we've been able to do this and we've learned from it. And Madam Judith, with this whole project thing, wants to help Matabeleland, so we want to help give back. So normal low-income earners can earn a good salary from more than just your maize and your normal crops and your cattle and everything. It's a crop that will be able to sustain them and their families.
You talk about, reaching out that you're going to help smallholder farmers. So small-scale farmers can actually go into cannabis
Yes.
production. And
Yes.
what does it take, given that one already I've seen this issue, there's labor here, there's maybe issue of capital investment.
Yeah, so to do 1 hectare of CBD, so that's the lower grade one, that you can use for skin products and all of that. For 1 hectare, basically everything, so that's your lights, your fencing, your boreholes, the tractor, your drip irrigation, the plants, is basically $34,000. After 6 months, once you've done that, so the only thing you've got to pay for is your labor. And we've all got aunts and uncles and cousins and that can able to help, so you don't have to go out and get people to employ. You can have your family members helping you. So once you've done 1 crop, it's in the region of 40, the low ball thing, because we always go lower so people don't get disappointed, is at least 40,000 the first crop. If you can grow 3 times a year, so that's 120,000. Take off, say, the 34,000 that you put in for a family, that's more than enough to live on. So that's our aim, is to help people just so then they can also have a better life.
Right. Talk to me also about the issue of licensing, given that yes, it's now Zimbabwe has licensed growing of cannabis. What is the licensing terrain?
So for the CBD, I think it's $200 for growing, and that's it. And that's from AMA. So you go get your license, they come and do a check, make sure you've got the security and all of that. They'll issue the license, and from there, that's it. Then once you've grown your crop, you'll have to send that bud to MCAS to check that it is CBD and not THC. From there, you'll have to send it to a lab in South Africa to get the proper COA. And from there, there's the market, Zimbabwe. We've got the market in Zimbabwe and all over the world.
That's for CBD.
Yeah, that's for the CBD. So for a small farmer, so say 34,000, so made $35,000, and that's for 1 crop. For 1 crop, and yeah, A4away.
I did also hear mention of a figure that $50,000 for.
That's for the THC license.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so that's
Okay.
so that's the THC license. So that's your $57,000. So that's for 5 years, and then every year I think they come and you have to reapply, or every 2 years it's like $10,000. But with that THC license, so you have to build a proper, and you've got to have the security, you've got to have cameras, you've got to have everything's got to be in place and up to scratch on the regulations of the CI.
And you did mention that there are hurdles in it, but they can be overcome. What is the timeline really from start to getting your license? Yeah, to the end.
For the THC, the timeline you think for hurdles. I don't know. Well, we're hoping that we've changed the SIs here in Zimbabwe now, and more exposure so people can see that it's not a drug.
Right.
It's it's not a drug. It's I've got it blank.
Medicine.
Yeah, it's medicine. And like we were saying, the pharmaceutical companies, your paracetamol, your everything, all the drugs, like your chemo. A lot of people are doing chemo, and there's new research coming out now that this medical marijuana is actually, it helps and it stops the cancer growth. So there's more and more research into that. So if they can get out, there in the world, it'll just help people so that you don't have to use your pharmaceutical things, or if you want to do the like the chemotherapy and everything, or you can go the medical route. I know in Switzerland now the medical aid is actually paying for marijuana to help people with anxiety, with depression, with weight loss, with weight, putting on weight. There's so many different things to it. So for the medical side, it's huge.